Welcome friends, Pony here, and today we're going to talk about the latest release of Goblins vs. Gnomes. I mean, from the first card that got released, and then the cards that got released afterwards, we haven't done a video. So from the November 12th on, the cards, we're going to look at them and see if we like them, how good they might be in some decks, and what synergies we can imagine with them. And I think without any further ado, let's just start with the cards. What do we have here? Okay, we're going to start with the Illuminator. So if you control a secret, at the end of your turn, restore 4 health to your hero. It's okay, especially for some decks without heal potentials. Secret Mage doesn't have his heals on his own. Hunter doesn't have heals on his own. For a Paladin, it would be super annoying if you play like the full heal Paladin. I don't like the card that much because it's like 3-drop. It may heal you. Especially with Paladin, may be interesting, but you're not striving to, like, it's not gaining you a lot. It's just surviving, but it's not getting you further forward, if you know what I mean. So I don't like it that much, but the Shield Maiden is pretty cool. The only sad part, it's cost 6. If it would cost 5, it would be better. 5, 5, 5 is okay. 6, 5, 5 is not that okay, but gaining 5 armor could be interesting. I mean, it's a turn 7 combo for a shield block. It's something like an instant shield block and a 5/5 body on the board and a warrior minion. I don't think it will get played often, but it could be interesting. It could. If you play like, I don't know, full face warrior and you just want to, instead of a shield block, play another minion that gives you armor so you can hit other people, a board warrior. But I still think if we have more armor synergy cards, not only the shield slam, also additional stuff, I think it would be better. And then we have Ancestor's Call, put a random minion from each player's hand into battlefield. I love that card, it's pretty funny. I mean, yes, if you play against a rush deck, you draw him a small one out. If you play against a control deck, could go wrong. If you play against a Merca Rogue, you could even draw something useful out of his hand. So you have to see it like, you don't play it turn 4. You could play it as a Shaman, for example. Turn 7, you play Ancestor's Call, and you have a Lava Burst. You play Ancestor's Call, and you have a Hex. So whatever you draw out of his hand, you can Hex it, Lava Burst it, whatever. You just have to see the combo potential with it. Not like the card, oh yeah, play turn 4. No, you play later, and you have more stuff with it. There are other cards, like summon a random weapon for everyone, for every player. Yeah, you don't play that card when you don't have a Swamp Ooze or Harrison in your hand. So you play that card, and then you play Harrison, for example. Same for Ancestor's Call. If you have something to remove, then you can play it. Why not? It works great. We have the Muster for Battle Paladin card. Summon 3/1/1 silver and recruits, equip a 1/4 weapon. So you could play that together with Sword of Justice. You summon 3/1/1s for 3. So turn 3, or you coin Sword of Justice, you play Muster for Battle. Then your weapon dissolves, but you have 3 2/2s. You could also play that later, like after you summon 2 minions and then Sword of Justice gets wrecked, and then you play that card that adds an attack to your weapon, for example. There was something, or 2 attack, I'm not entirely sure. But or you play the Pirate that gives you +1/+1 on your weapon. Don't have his name here yet, but you know what I mean. I don't think Muster for Battle is that good, but it's an interesting card. I like it. I think it's cool to see how people might synergize with it. I mean, Muster for Battle, and then next turn play a Cult Master and draw the cards, for example. The 1/4 weapon is, I think, semi-optimum, but it's not bad. It can be interesting, especially against rush decks. So 1/1/1/1/1, you play it into a Knife Juggler, and you have a 1/4 weapon. So if you play against Zulok, could be really interesting. It's like small Unleash without the charging part. We have the Cockhammer. So it gives a random friendly minion Divine Shield and Taunt. A random minion? That means turn 5 Lothab, turn 6 Cockhammer, and it's a random minion, a random friendly minion. So you have then a taunty Lothab with a Divine Shield. That's pretty strong because you can play a minion. So on an empty board, you play a minion, he plays a minion. Strong, like you Lothab, he Lothabs. You Cockhammer, kill his Lothab, laugh. He Black Knights, you cry. But you know what I mean. That's a synergy you can expect with a Cockhammer. It's really interesting. I love that card. It can be really strong. I mean, it's 2/3. It's not that bad. It can kill every 2-drop if you hit it. You can play it early game. I mean, you play a 2-drop, he plays a 2-drop, you play that, you kill his 2-drop, you attack with your 2-drop. So in a rushy deck, it can be interesting too, because you can choose which random minion it is, if you know what I mean. Next card is Gazrilla. I heard a lot of cries about that card. It's so OP, oh crazy, it's shit, it's bad. But, I mean, You can draw it with the new Hunter card and play it for 4 less pretty instant. Whenever this minion takes damage, double its attack. That's nice, but you first of all have to have something to damage it with. And as soon as you damage it with, so for example you attack with it, and it stays there with 12 whatever, 12-7 for example, big game hunter, execute. Hex, sheep, silence, whatever. It's a, I mean, with the silence it's a 6-9 body, nice. But you know what I mean, you have to play it in a charge, like in a Tundra Rhino, and then double Elven Archer or something. Boom, game 1. That would be something possible. But as you know, those combos are really rare to happen. So Miracle Druid, Miracle Hunter finisher incoming with Gazarilla. I don't think the card is that good, but like you can just play it as another beef. So you put 100 Creeper out and just add a Gazarilla. And then in late game you go, like Savannah High Main, he hexes this, you put Gazarilla. And then it's like, okay, even if you silence it, it's a 6-9. 6-9 can kill Fire Elementals and still have 3 HP. 6-9 can quite kill everything and still be alive. And even without its effect, it's a 6-9 that deals 6 damage, that opposes a threat. If it gets Hunt Mastered, it's a giant taunt beast freaking hell minion. So you can just add it to your hunter, to whatever hunter. It's like drawing it into a King Crush just to have it certain in your deck. So it's really, really cool in my opinion. Okay, we have the Sabotage. Destroy a random enemy minion and a combo at your opponent's weapon. So, I like it. For 4, you destroy a random minion. So the Druid drops his Shade of Naxxramas, you destroy a random minion. You know what I mean? There's like, random is a really wide area of terms. Because if there's only 1 minion on the board, you sap something, and then you Sabotage, and even destroy a weapon. So against a warrior in late game, for example, you sap his Armor Smith, kill the Ragnaros, and you destroy his Death Spy he was just keeping. So the card is really strong and really interesting. I think I would play it because it's for 4, destroy a minion. Whatever. If you play against Rush, it's not that good, but you can only play one of it. It's more or less like a big game hunter, or like a deadly shot. Well, like a big game hunter, but you can kill everything, and a deadly shot, but a deadly shot is random also. And 3, so you get your own deadly shot, destroy a random enemy minion, 100%, hunters do that also, but you can force with a sap situations where it's good, or with a backstab, or with an eviscerate. You can force those situations so easy. If you prep into a Sabotage, it's even only a 1-cost card. So you can also go Auctioneer, prep, Sabotage. He has a concealed Auctioneer, BAM! Deleted that minion from the board. That is what you're looking for if you play against a Miracle Rogue. I mean, we're not going to have a lot of Miracle Rogues, but Rogue was struggling to kill, like, there's a Malygos. Oh, I don't get the enemy Malygos killed. There's an Izera. Okay, I can only sap it. But now you can Sabotage it, actually. So, I like the card a lot. It's pretty cool. And we have the Steamweedle Sniper, and well, I heard so many cries in the internet. Your hero power can target minions. Oh boy. Oh boy. So you can hit minions with it. Steamweedle Sniper stays alive and you're like, ah. But it's only a 2-3 minion, so you can quite kill it instantly. Harass, it's dead. Deadly Poison Weapon, it's dead. But your hero power can target minions sounds really, really interesting. I like it a lot. It's gonna be probably funny to see how the RNG turns out with that one. But yeah, Steamweedle Sniper is a cool thing. You can do some really funny stuff with it. Play a more control-oriented hunter. I mean, you can buff that guy up too. You can play him between taunters, behind taunters, stuff like that. And there is the November 7th cards. There are the cards I can find here on the page, but there are more cards, and we're going to drop in there now. And there we found what we were looking for. There are more cards. For example, the Snow Chugger. Freeze any character damaged by this minion. I mean, it's only a 2-3, but it's still interesting. You can buff it up, you can attack, you can freeze everything, and it's character. So from turn 2 on, you can freeze a warrior, for example, and he's getting pwned by that. If you really get the Snow Chugger unleashed early on, and he's not having an instant weapon, doom. There's also the Whirling Zap-O-Matic with Wind Fury for 2, 3-2. No overload, you can coin it out. I think it's not that strong, but it can get really nasty. If you don't have instant removal, you take 6 damage. You take 12 damage. You take 12 damage at turn 2 if he has a Rockbiter weapon, stuff like that. So the Whirling Zap-O-Matic can be really, really strong and hurtful. we had the Gezrilla, and there's a burly Rockjaw truck. I mean, whenever your opponent casts a spell, gain +2 attack, that's a new Yeti. You don't freaking care. He's only 3/5, no taunt, whatever. He's just a Yeti with 1 less attack, but as soon as your enemy is casting 1 freaking spell, he's 5/5, he's 7/5, whatever. So, if you play it against certain decks, it can be so strong. I love the burly Rockjaw truck. I'm definitely looking forward to play him. And there we go to the randomness again, the Ogre Ninja. I mean, first of all, an Ogre Ninja. So it's like that. I'm stealth. No worries. And he has a 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy. But the wrong enemy is already not random again. So in a rogue, you can force to have only one enemy, the face. You can force to not care about hitting the minion or the face. So you drop him turn 5, he drops a Lothar, you attack. You hit the minion, great. You hit the face, great. So you don't care in that situation. But you can sap the enemy minion and then just attack the face. Same for the Dune Maw Shaman. Is Wind Fury Overload 1 only a 5/4. That's not that good for 4. But 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy. Again, if there's only one enemy to attack, and he has Wind Fury, so you crush a minion, and then you crush the face. There's no minion, 10 damage in the face. But he's only 5/4, he dies to a swipe, Ras Hero Power, Ras Elf Archer, stuff like that. We have the Sabotage, we had that already, and there's a Demon Heart. Deal 5 damage to a minion. If it's friendly demon, give it +5/+5 instead. I heard already some people, oh yeah, it's so bad, it does only 5 damage. It's like a Starfall, only for 1 minion. Like, you don't need it. But +5/+5 can be really interesting. I don't think the card will be played really often, but there are going to be demon decks, hopefully with more demons. We haven't seen all cards yet. In the current Goblins vs. Gnome votes, it looks like Mal'Ganis, so we might get more demons. That would be really interesting. But deal 5 damage or buff 1 into Oblivion sounds interesting, but the +5/+5 can get silenced. But it's really good for a trade. I mean, you have a 1/3 Void Caller there, the Void Walker, and then you go +5/+5. Boom! And he's 5/8. Just instant, and you can trade with him into stuff. Sounds interesting. We're gonna see how good it turns out. And then we go to Feign Death. Trigger all death rattles on your minions. What can I say about that? Trigger all death rattles on your minions. So turn 8, you play Sylvanas Feign Death. And you trigger instant her death rattle. And you take an enemy minion. So Feign Death is going to be really painful bitch-ass card. I'm not looking forward to that. So you can also play double 100 Creeper and play Feign Death, and you had 6 minions on the board out of nowhere. I mean, that's just fun, but you double Loot Order, stuff like that. So you can get really a lot of you out of your death rattles. You cannot leave 1 minion alive ever again against a hunter. Ever. Then we have the little Exorcist, for example. Battlecry, gain +1/+1 for each enemy death rattle minion. So he plays Undertaker into, now let's say he plays Web Spinner into 100 Creeper, and you coin little Exorcist, and you get already +2/+2. And it's going to be a 4/5 minion out of nowhere. He plays Ironbeak Owl, wrecked. But still, you drew out an Ironbeak Owl. Little Exorcist is still great card. You can just play it if the meta is so death rattle, or in a tournament. I think she's more a tournament card, because for 2/3 is okay, and then you get buffs if you know you're playing as a hunter, if you know you're playing as the new death rattle, whatever. As the Scarlet Purifier, deal 2 damage to all minions with death rattle. So to all minions. Keep that in mind. It's a 4/3, that's okay for 3, it's like a charger. You can play Nerubian X yourself, the Paladin. And then you play the Scarlet Purifier, because he's going to kill the Nerubian X, for example. And you're going to destroy the enemies. So you can think about, how can I utilize the Purifier on my own to make him viable? For example, as I said, with X, as in a tournament again, against a Death Rattler deck, to get the enemy's minions wrecked. Can be really good with your own combos. I like the Nerubian X thought there. And maybe we're going to have more Death Rattle minions that die and give you huge advantages. Crackle, 3 to 6 damage, only 1 overload for 2, seems like a weaker Lightning Bolt. Only overload 1, and you can play it additionally. So you have 1 Lightning Bolt, 1 Crackle, 1 Lava Burst in hand. Well, that's already a lot of damage. And it can deal 6 damage. 3 to 6 is for me 4 to 5 damage most of the times. You cannot rely on it, but with spell damage it's already 4 damage. So you most of the time have, instead of 4 or 5, have 5 or 6 damage, because it goes from 4 to 7 range if you have the spell damage. That makes it interesting again. I don't know how it will get utilized, but I think it's an interesting card. It's just another spell, another damage spell. You can even play more full-face Shaman. So you play Death Rattle Shaman with a lot of card draw and the spells to just burn in the face, win the game. For example, is a possible thought there. You had the Steam Weedle Sniper already, and then there is the Druid of the Fang. I love that card because it's like Battle Cry. If you have a beast, transform this minion into a 7/7. Holy mother of bullcrap, whatever. So you play a really aggressive Druid with the Oozes, 100 Creeper and stuff. You add a Direwolf Alpha, and you can play like that Direwolf Alpha turn 4, and everyone knows Druid of the Fang, I need to kill it, I need to kill it. But you already deal damage. And you can also play Stone Tusk Boar, for example, turn 6, Stone Tusk Boar, Druid of the Fang. Stuff like that. But there will be probably more beasts to utilize upon. But I like the Direwolf Alpha thingy because you can actually profit from it with your Swamp Oozes and stuff. And you force your enemy to draw out his, like, you play against a handlock, you play that turn 3, for example, and he knows, oh frigging hell, I need to get out instantly a removal. Or you put it turn 2 and you have an Innervate coin into the Druid of the Fang. Yeah, get wrecked. If we meet more hunters with freezing traps again, it could be even worse, as I said, to play the Stone Tusk Boar, because you can Stone Tusk Boar, play the Druid of the Fang, and you like turn 4, Stone Tusk Boar, innovate Druid of the Fang, run into the freezing trap with your boar, get him back into the hand, Druid of the Fang 7/7, out of nowhere. But it can get silenced. If I'm not mistaken. No, you transform it into a 7/7 minion. No, they cannot get silenced. I'm sorry, it was transform, so it's going to be 7/7 whatever happens. That is great. So many cool new Goblins versus Gnome cards. But keep in mind, there are a lot of RNG cards in it, but there is not so much RNG in it. If you think about it, as we said, you have the cards that might seem RNG heavy, and they are RNG heavy, but you can force situations where they aren't. As for the Sabotage, you can kill something right away. A Shade, Conceal Auctioneer, whatever. But you can sub something and then kill something certain. For the Ninja, for the Dunima Augur, you can get him 100% to hit the face, or even 50% to hit a minion. But you can force those situations where you profit from it. And I mean, a 6/6 Concealed Ninja Ogre is always a threat. You kind of need to deal with it, or else it's going to crash your face hardcore. And you don't want to get your face hardcore crushed. That was it for our latest Goblins vs. Gnomes review. I hope we're going to have the cards soon, because I don't want to talk about the cards. I want to play them as soon as possible. If you like our video, subscribe here on YouTube. Also watch my Hitbox live stream, and don't forget, there is the first episode of our Goblins vs. Gnomes with all the cards that already got released and other stuff to watch. So go there, watch it, rate, comment, like, everything you please. Hope to see you here again. Peace, love, and bear hugs. Your pony. See you in the future.